Before I started growing vegetables in my backyard, I spent most of my time playing video games. I think I spent most of my life playing video games now that I look back on it. My first obsession was Pokemon for the Game Boy Advance. Then, as I got older, it turned into NCAA football for the PlayStation 2. And eventually, by the time I was 12 years old, it was Minecraft. I actually went to see the Minecraft movie recently with my younger brother, who wasn't even born by the time I started playing, which really makes me feel completely ancient. And then over Christmas break during my first year of college, I discovered Stardew Valley, a cozy farming RPG where you raise vegetables, animals, fight monsters, and seduce an entire small town simultaneously. I don't think I went to bed at all the night I discovered the game. I was completely hooked by the limitless, open-ended story, all the decision-making, the constant progress, the charming and beautiful music and graphics. To me, it was obviously the perfect game. If you haven't played Stardew Valley, the opening scene shows your character, the farmer, working in an office devoid of life, quite literally, and deciding to leave it all behind to go live and work on your late grandfather's farm in the cozy mountain town of Stardew Valley. I didn't quite realize it at the time, but at this point in my life, I'm starting to think that that sounds exactly like the life of my dreams. Two fun facts that you need to know about me. Number one, I love being outside. And number two, I have an addiction to content consumption. Back in the day, I started playing Minecraft because, and I'm not making this up, because of the TNT music video by Captain Sparkles, which was a parody of Dynamite by Tayo Cruz. That video made me want to buy and play Minecraft. And afterwards, I consumed entire Minecraft Let's Plays from channels like the Yogscast, CoStar, and Ethos Lab. It was then that I knew I was destined to become a YouTuber. It was my #1 dream job growing up, YouTuber. I want to play video games and make videos about it. So I did as every young child does when they first discover that people make YouTube videos. You look for ways to download software that you would otherwise have to pay for. So I got a copy of Fraps to record my screen and a copy of Sony Vegas Pro to edit the footage. And it was bad. I was not good at it, but I didn't really realize at the time. My computer could barely handle running the game of Minecraft, let alone running video editing software, but I was chasing a dream. Today, I guess I fulfilled that dream. I make videos for a living, not on YouTube. This channel isn't even monetized, but I am a full-time videographer. I work in an office. I stare at a computer screen for 8 hours a day, and don't get me wrong, I love my job. I love that it allows me to be creative, but there's still that itch in the back of my brain that isn't quite being scratched. A few years ago, I had purchased my first home, and one day, while bored, I randomly searched how to grow vegetables in a raised garden bed. I need to share this with you really quick. I know that because YouTube saves your entire search and watch history if you don't have auto-delete turned off. So that's how I know on April 3rd, 2023, I first decided to get into gardening, and that's where my obsession began. I did a little more sleuthing, and I went all the way back to the beginning of my YouTube channel, and that's how I know that my very first search back in 2011, if you can believe it, was Minecraft builds. What's even funnier is the next month I searched, this is literally the next search that I made into YouTube, Minecraft video recording software, free. I knew my way around the internet back then, let me tell you. So I decided to start my first vegetable garden. I built a large raised bed with the help of my dad and aforementioned younger brother. I accepted a generous offering from one of my neighbors. That was a bag of chicken poop that I used to fertilize the bed. And on Mother's Day, I went to the garden center and bought a whole bunch of vegetables that I had been watching videos on how to grow. And by the time I got home and I was ready to put them in my bed, I had no idea what I was doing. The garden was not very well thought out, but looking back on it, I'm pretty proud. I didn't eat much from it aside from the zucchini, which I quickly fell in love with. There was plenty of problems. My lettuce bolted immediately. I had no idea what to do with all of the celery. My broccoli was completely covered by my tomatoes, which kept rotting and I had a hard time accessing, and all of the onion sets that I planted failed to grow any sort of bulb, really. I didn't fertilize at all. I had no clue what I was actually doing. Those YouTube videos really didn't teach me as much as I thought they did. But in the process of tearing all my plants out, I looked back and said, I learned a lot here. Let's keep going with it. So the next year, I bought a greenhouse and put that up. I built 5 more raised beds, and that winter in February, I started a truckload of peppers and tomatoes. And then came the birth of the Nebraska Garden YouTube channel. I was just going about my regular activities and said, let's apply some of these real world video creating skills that I have, and let's see what happened today in the Nebraska garden. I had that line figured out immediately. I knew that's how I wanted the video to start, but I did not realize what it would turn into. If you're unfamiliar with the channel, I post garden update shorts. You can check those out by subscribing. Make sure you stay in touch with everything I'm doing at the Nebraska garden. Hit that notification bell to receive notifications whenever I post a video. And that first year of the YouTube channel blew my mind. I had no idea there would be so many people willing to watch my content. This guy who had never gardened before, talking most of the time out of his rear end about what he was up to. Oh my God, there's 2 bunnies right now in my garden. Hold on. Hey, little guy. Hey, little bunny. What you doing? So the channel blew up beyond my wildest dreams. And I was posting daily shorts. I missed 2 days the entire summer, both because I was traveling. And by the time September, October rolled around, I was so burnt out from rushing home and making a video every single day that I said, I have to stop. I have to stop this and let my love of gardening come back to me, because I was really just focused on the videos at that point. The garden videos literally consumed every thought of mine once I was home. It was the very first thing I did, was come outside, water all of the peppers in my 5-gallon buckets, and think about what today's video was going to be. And a lot of the times I was racking my brain trying to figure out how I'm going to harvest another basket of peppers and make an interesting video out of it. But I kept plugging along because people kept watching and leaving very nice comments. I was very surprised by the positivity. Now, there were some negative comments. YouTube comment sections have a stigma about them for a reason. And I would be lying if I said the occasional negative comment didn't affect me, if I didn't think about it afterwards and sort of repeated in my head a little bit. And I agreed with most of the feedback because it was mostly constructive feedback, albeit a little bit harsh criticism here and there, but not too much of that. But it was people helping me learn how to garden along the way, on top of all of the people who just wanted to say great job. It was incredible to sort of build a community like that. The number one comment that I've received since I started playing a certain couple of songs in every one of my shorts is along the lines of OMG Stardew Valley music. It's basically every other comment. My family always jokes about that whenever they talk to me about my videos. They're always like, what's that Stardew game people were talking about? And I'm like, oh, you would get it. Every single start of a growing season to me feels like when you start up a new save in Stardew Valley. You take what you've learned from your last playthrough or season and you do better the next year. You know which vegetables to plant. You know which efficiencies you can do. You want to experiment a little more. I grew a lot of flowers this year that I hadn't done before, and whenever I start up a new Stardew save, I'm always looking to do something new. Also, you learn what gifts your friends and family appreciate from your garden. And that is one of the ways that I have connected with people via gardening. I had never so much as eaten a kohlrabi before this year. And my aunt, who loves kohlrabi, asked if I would grow it in my garden, and I said absolutely. And it quickly became one of my new favorite foods. I've been connecting with a lot of my family members over gardening. My grandparents, who used to have gardens. My wife's grandma, who had a garden. I was talking to people at work, my colleagues who garden, which for me, I'm a pretty shy person. I don't really tend to talk to people that much. It was a great way for me to open up, and I'll talk about gardening to just about anybody who will listen to me at this point. And it sort of struck me, I am playing Stardew in real life. I am engaging in communities. I am building better relationships because of gardening. I am doing hard work out here. I am enjoying the literal fruits of my labor, as I like to say. Bro is, in fact, playing Stardew. And it feels great. It feels so fulfilling. I always say that anybody can do this because I can do it. It's a little self-deprecating, but I truly believe that that's true. Before I started gardening, as a child especially, I was deathly afraid of bugs, of bees. And now I feel like if Snow White called all the woodland insects to her side instead of the woodland animals and creatures. I love being out here with the bees. My mantra is if you don't mess with bees, they don't mess with you. I'm still trying to instill that in my wife, but it's hard to get used to being around a lot of bugs like that, but it's something I've come to love about gardening. And I love being involved with nature, especially at a time when humanity is so convinced that it has to destroy nature to achieve its goals. I think that we should try to befriend Mother Earth instead of trying to take advantage of her. And so I try to advocate that you should be gardening. I understand that people have physical limitations that don't allow them to garden. I understand that not everybody has a backyard or even a balcony that they can grow food in. But I think it's possible if you give it a try. If you try to be resourceful, anyone can garden. All it takes is dirt, water, and sunlight. And you can get that from a windowsill. You can get that from a shop light. I start all of my plants inside. You could grow lettuce inside, spinach inside. With the right nutrients that you add, you can grow food basically anywhere, any way. And the food is one of the most important aspects to me. And I think reading The Grapes of Wrath in high school really shaped this perspective that I have on food and the wastefulness surrounding food that is especially true in America. Food is not meant to be a scarce resource. I grow food to eat it, yeah, but I love to share it with others as well. If I'm able to, and I have extra food this year, I plan on donating a lot of it to a local food bank because some of the food bank assisting programs have been cut this year. Gardening is kind of a selfish act because you're manipulating nature, but you can turn it into something completely selfless and for the good of everyone around you. And that's the whole point, isn't it, of building a community to sort of help the people around you. I think back to the very first time I constructed the community building in Stardew Valley. Not only did I achieve a goal in a video game, which I am always trying to do, that's the point of playing the game for me most of the time, is achieve this one goal, but it's this strange feeling of accomplishment that you're doing something for others. And that's a feeling that there's no other feeling like that. I think there's a lot more serious discussions to be had here than this is how gardening is like playing a video game. But Stardew Valley is probably my favorite game of all time. It evokes strong emotions from me. And that's why I started using the Stardew music in my Nebraska garden daily updates. It evokes this, every song, just the positive energy. And I try to be a positive force on YouTube, and my thoughts on short form content are not good. Like, I don't think it's very healthy for society or the attention spans of the humanity, especially children. I think they should stay far away from short form content. And I try to reconcile the fact that I make short form content and I tell myself, oh, but I make good short form content. I make sure it's longer, 50 seconds to a minute instead of 5 seconds, but that's pretty much all coping, isn't it? I make short form content because that's what people watch nowadays, and I'm hoping that by using the Stardew music and receiving all of these OMG Stardew comments, that I'm sort of showing other people who may be like me, who grew up playing a lot of video games, who didn't get outside that much, that it's possible to live that life that you love escaping into in that game in the real world. It's possible to be bro playing Stardew in real life. And I generally don't think it's a very good idea to talk about your YouTube strategy on your YouTube channel, but after a few of the stories I've told you, I think you can see that the idea of YouTube is something I've thought about for over half of my life. And so it's kind of essential to my personality. And I tend not to talk about it a lot, but I think I was looking back while I wasn't making videos about why people watch the channel. And I was thinking it wasn't because of my expertise. Clearly, I was a beginner gardener. It wasn't because my videos were baiting people into engaging with them. I've had people tell me I'm making rage bait, which is pretty funny. I try to avoid baiting people into watching my content or engaging with it. It's not because of all these reasons. And so if it's not because of any of those other reasons, then it must be me, right? It must be my personality shining through the editing, through the voiceovers, something along those lines. And that was, oh my God, a bee. That's awesome. That was not something that I thought was possible. I've never really had the highest of self-esteem like that. And so learning that has kind of opened my eyes and made me start to want to share more of who I am on this channel instead of trying to be the next big gardening channel. Maybe I'm the big Nebraska gardener channel. Maybe that's why I'm making these videos in the first place. So that's it. That's me. I'm Damon. I'm the Nebraska gardener. If you liked this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button. It helps out the channel so much. We just hit 10,000 subscribers, which is freaking crazy. That blows my mind. I can't even reconcile that that's real. If you liked this video and you want to see more like it, or you think other people should watch this video, hit the like button. That really helps with YouTube's algorithm, which is really my master at this point. And be honest with me. If you are subscribed to the channel, is it just because of the Stardew music? If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you. Happy gardening.